Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's ASEAN Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Jeff Halley, Senior Market Analyst, Asia Pacific at OANDA. Jeff, good afternoon. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Apologies for the lighting, but no doubt you'll want to ask me about my shirt.
Absolutely. So what's with the nice looking batik shirt?
Well, your viewers don't realize I'm based in Jakarta, and today I had to go to the Imigrasi office to renew my residence permit for 2 more years. And it's always nice to wear a dress batik when you go to the government office. So that's what I was dressed in as I came back in to do this interview.
So that means that you got a lot better service because of the batik shirt?
They loved me, even though my bahasa is appalling. They see through that and they look at my shirt and they were very, very helpful.
Yeah, because they say, hey, at least this guy's trying.
Correct.
All right, let's take a look and see how markets in the region are performing. We'll start with the SGX. It's up 0.08% at 3,196.56. Bursa Malaysia is at 1,615.99. It's up 0.47%. Now, across ASEAN, Asian markets, we've basically got India, which is up 1%. Nikkei is up 0.52% at 29,172.13. Shanghai Composite is at 3,479. It's up 0.18%. The Hang Seng is at 29,100.22. It's up 0.07%. The ASX 200 is down slightly to 0.05% at 7,056.9, even though some regional states are closed at the moment. And to round off the numbers, we've got Kospi, which is up 0.69% at 3,208.11. Now, Jeff, it's essentially, besides the ASX, a sea of green across the region. What's fueling this optimism in markets now?
Yeah, look, we saw Asia actually open slightly softer this morning, and I think that was due to these COVID-19 issues around Asia, Thailand, Japan, South Korea, obviously India, and that had raised some fears as the day started that this recovery in Asia in particular might be more extended than what people have thought. That bullish, but that sentiment has ebbed over the course of the morning, and there's no real data out for it, but US equity futures, the index futures, have rallied off their lows this morning and are in green territory, combined with a very strong finish by Wall Street on Friday. I think that has tipped that balance back to the more bullish sentiment side that we saw finish in New York markets on Friday. We've got a crowd pleaser week of data starting from tomorrow from around the world. And I think today we're just going to be driven by the nuances of intraday sentiment. Helping things along, I suspect, is some initial data coming out of India that suggests that COVID-19 cases may be peaking in both New Delhi and Mumbai.
Now, Jeff, we talked about a slew of data and events that are coming up. Obviously, one of the things which market is looking for direction is FOMC meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday. But market expectations are no change. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's even more so now because central banks around the world, including the Fed, have kept going on about these balanced risks. Obviously, economic recovery on one side, COVID-19 on the other. The markets have ignored that COVID-19 side for quite some time now, but the central banks have stayed the course. And I think that what we're seeing in India in particular is highlighting those risks. And that will be enough on its own to mean that the Fed won't do anything to rock the boat. They know as soon as they start talking about tapering in any shape, form or manner, there's going to be a tantrum in the markets. Bond yields are going to go up. Equity is going to go down and the dollar will probably rally. They won't want that. So I'm expecting them to be as much as on message as they possibly can this week.
Now, one of the things that markets are looking out for is really the slew of earnings results that are going to be coming out this week. Now, the bulk of mid-cap technology stocks will report first quarter earnings this week. The FANG stocks in particular, Amazon, Alphabet, Facebook, and Google, are really up against heightened expectations because essentially they've been doing really well and benefited from stay-at-home trends, but now the bar is very high. What's your view on how this is going to pan out?
Yeah, you could even pop in Apple and Spotify in there for the sake of my millennial daughters as well. Look, I believe it's not so much the results. They're going to show that these companies are still printing money quite comfortably in the past quarter. What will be interesting is their outlook, whether they expect their revenue growth, their earnings growth to slow down because they feel that the market or the world is going to slowly reopen from the Zoom boom, working from home, pandemic situation. If we see that guidance being tempered looking forward, as you said, these stocks are extremely richly valued, and I believe that the risks are that it could be a buy the rumor and sell the fact situation, and we could see those stocks take quite a substantial correction to the downside if that guidance is dovish.
Now, what are the you mentioned there are lots of key data points and events this week to watch out for. What else do you think will move markets this week?
Well, we've got China industrial profits tomorrow. We've got their manufacturing, non-manufacturing PMIs on Friday. Obviously, the world is putting a lot of store in the China recovery, and China is the engine room of this global recovery. So again, any signs that that's slowing down may temper those sort of animal spirits amongst bullish investors. We've got US GDP, we've got US initial jobless claims. And we've also got personal consumption expenditure where we're expecting to see some pretty big jumps there as well. I think what we're going to need to see is that this recovery, particularly in the US and China, remains on track. If that number doesn't come in quite where the market wants, that could set up the market again for a bit of a correction, particularly in equities. But my feeling is that those numbers are going to be great and they should be bullish for equities on the periphery.
Hey, Jeff, thanks again for taking the time to speak to us.
My pleasure. Have a great week ahead.
Yep, we've been speaking to Jeff Halley, Senior Market Analyst, Asia Pacific at OANDA on BizTech's ASEAN Midday Market Watch. This video will be on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please subscribe and like our Facebook and LinkedIn pages. Thanks for watching.